So, we are talking today about self-esteem as currency. So, when we're satisfied with our own currency rather than a scattering of the mind, currency meaning we're current, we're in the flow, the current, because of the many various aspects to invest in and control that the self-esteem can become all wrapped up in. There's a healthy self-esteem because of the earning that currency of the presence. Self-esteem is the currency itself, is the money, is the resource, is the acquisition, is the assets. So that we earn it with our own work rather than others' perceptions. It's not like, oh, if we convince the other person, then we have self-esteem. No, it's like we actually earn our own self-esteem, our self-esteem, not esteem in others. Rather, from the others' perceptions, and we can relax and enjoy it, rather than be afraid that others can take it away, or that in a second it could be ruined. So if we have like a really high self-esteem, it might be sin or selfish or stingy. So we have a low self-esteem. If we recognize the success of another doesn't change or impact our own allotment, then we don't need to be jealous of anyone else's portion. And we don't need, it's also self-esteem is all about not wanting anyone else to feel as bad as we have felt. So we're not going to put it on someone else. We make the commitment to not say anything bad about someone to them. We desire for that same good self-esteem to live in everyone. Like if you have enough money, you want everyone to have enough money. There's this intro to in Shar B'Tachon, the introduction by Chavos Alavavos. There is this idea, I think it's page 25. So the one who trusts in God versus the alchemist. So here we have another currency, trust in God as the currency. So in terms of materials, an alchemist worries about how to attain his work materials, while the one who trusts God will find a way. When it comes to harm, the alchemist could be harmed through the labor, like hard work, metal, hot heat, and so on, while the one who trusts in God is safe from harm. When it comes to advice, the alchemist is scared to share the information they know. It's called gatekeeping. Like you don't want to tell anyone because then everyone will have it. Everyone could get what you have. While the one who's trust in God has nothing to hide. Everyone could find out anyway. God could tell anyone. The alchemist, when it comes to their stock, the merchandise or the stuff, is always afraid and concerned if he's stocking correctly, if there'll be enough, if they have all the correct balances. While the one who trusts in God doesn't need materials. Anything could come at any moment that could correct the balance, that could provide what's missing. When it comes to fear, the alchemist is always worried that people will find out a secret. He's not going to be special anymore or have that power. While the one who trusts in God knows his secret is God, or her secret. The alchemist, when it comes to health, understands that wealth does not prevent illness, so they're kind of vulnerable. While the one who trusts in God knows that you're still in good hands because God is the healer, the doctor's power. And when it comes to sustenance, the alchemist knows that gold doesn't always buy food. Sometimes you could be in a desert and you have all the gold in the world, but you don't have any water. While the one who trusts in God knows that God provides food directly. When you're on the go, the alchemist is always afraid of maybe being caught somewhere. Maybe somebody didn't like what he had or whatever. While the one who trusts in God is happy wherever he is, not rushing or on the move or trying to outrun dissatisfaction and so on. When it comes to reward, the alchemist is at most secured against poverty, while the one who trusts in God has material and spiritual reward. When it comes to community, the alchemist is scared of others, while the one who trusts in God is a benefit to others. Now, when we talk about in chapter 72, Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, it says in verse 14 that it's a mitzvah to wash our hair and cut our nails if we have overly long hair or so on. For Erev Shabbos, but not Rosh Chodesh, yet not if the fingernails but we shouldn't do the fingernails and the toenails on the same day. Some are particular and cut in a non-consecutive alternating order. So on the right hand first they do the second, the fourth, and the first, third, five, just not ones next to each other. Then the left hand they do the fourth, the second, the fifth, the third, the one. So they come inward versus here they go outward on the right hand. Some also don't cut them on Thursday because then they start to grow on Shabbos as the third day of the growing. And I want to talk about divine sounds for creation. And we have three more topics. The first one is from David Abram's book, The Spell of the Sensuous. He talks about how the nikudot, which are the vowels in Hebrew, are the breathy additions to the 22 consonants. So we have Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Ches, Tes, Yud, Vav, Yud, Chaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samach, Ayin, Pei, Tzaddik, Kuf, Resh, Shin, Sin, Taf. Some of those are actually doubles. So you have two kinds of Beis, so you have B and V, and then you have Chaf, and then a langer chaf, which is like the final chaf at the end of a word. Then you also have mem. You have a secondary mem. You have nun, secondary nun. Pei, secondary pei. Shin has two forms and taf has two forms, and each of these are like considered either another form of it or a longer, like a final version of it where it goes at the end of a word usually. Once in a while you have a special addition. So you can notice these are all consonants, even the ones which I mentioned are double. So nekudot, points, are vowels. They're like the ruach, the soul, the breath, the air, the wind it inspirits the language. It's like, be able to make a word, it's really like the words are consonants. But you could put them next to each other with these nekudot. So you don't really have like vowel letters. You have vowel, like some of them like aleph, ayin, hey, they're sort of guttural sounds. They could sound like a vowel, but they're not vowels. They are actually letters. So shoresh, or roots letters, which are of a word, they get altered by the vowels and nekudots that are used. Their meaning and their context. You could have 3 letters, and it means a million different things. Not a million, literally, but it means like 5 or 6 different things depending on the nekudot and which order you put them in. And so it's said that maybe not 5 or 6, but that could be the extent, something like that. I don't know exactly. And it's actually said, if you might have heard of Adam, the creation of Adam by God, and the Golem. The Golem was the Maharal of Prague, brilliant genius doctor, teacher, who it says that a lot of his descendants became big scientists in the field of artificial intelligence. So anyway, the Golem was basically this clay that was given life. So how did they do that? They say they matched God's name, Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey, the tetragrammaton name, which we call Hashem, with each of the nekudot. So each of the different nekudot, and so or each letter of it with every other letter of the aleph base, and combining each of these with the various nekudot. So it said that the first way to bring life into a being is because in other words, we're coded out of these letters. So the blueprint of reality, of the physical. So each letter of the God's name with every other letter of the alphabet, the 22 other letters, plus combining each of these with each of the various nekudot. And 1 and 2, both of these, we would say we pronounce each one of them, and that can bring the life into the physical matter. There was a Kabbalist, Abraham Abulafia. He said the letters, the written letters are like consonants, are like bodies, and the vowels spoken are like the breath sounded, like the soul. So it's like life and the vessel, the vessel for life. The letters and the vowels are like body and soul. And now I want to talk about I use the word aleph, so you could say aleph kamatz. I wonder if I should have to show you this so you could get an idea of what it looks like. So let's see here, aleph, right? So we have here the last one. Let's start from the beginning. I hope it's not backwards for you. Aleph kamatz, aleph patach. So this is Aleph is the first letter. I wrote it in script. Okay, there's a special, script that we write when we're not writing. Like it's some people know how to do it. You write the aleph base, the 22 letters. You write them. So here we have kamatz. It's spelled Kumotz, and that's this symbol. Then you have patach, Patach, and then you have tseirei. There's a few ways you could spell it because it's really Hebrew letters. So it's these 2 dots next to each other. These go under the letters so far. So you'd spell it something like Tzeyrey or Tsay or Ai, something like that. Then you have segol. Segol is Segol. It actually also is similar to the word for purple, and it's like 3 dots here, 2 dots, and then a dot under, like 2 eyes and a nose, something like that. And then I also wrote them in Hebrew underneath. So here you have, but I wrote them everything in script. You have kamatz, patach, tseirei, segol. And I want to also remind you that we actually have in Hebrew, not only am I using the script letters here, but we always write left to right in English, but in Hebrew we write right to left. So then we have shuruk. Shuruk is like a oo sound. So then you would have this extra symbol. It's like a vav, which is one of the letters, but it's specially used with a dot. Sometimes you have the vav added to a word. Sometimes the vav is already there and you add it. So shuruk, it's spelled Shuruk. Then you have this one here, kubutz. This one goes under the letter. So this one goes next to the letters, inside the word. This goes under the letter. Kubutz, Kubutz. It's 3 diagonal dots, almost like what's that constellation? The Big Dipper, maybe? I don't remember. And then we have chirik. This goes under. It's like an E. So here we have like kubutz, chirik. This is E. So we have and then I'll sound them out after. So you have E. So actually, let's pause. Let's go. Kamatz. I'm using the letter Aleph. If it was Beis, we would go ba, be. So here we're using Aleph. So here you see Aleph I wrote. We're going to go where we're up to. Sorry, this side. Back. I hope it's not backwards. Aleph, Kamatz Aleph, Patach Aleph, Seirei Aleph, A. Segel Aleph, And then I skipped here to U. So here, Shuruk is the last one. U. And then we have Kubutz here. It's a different kind of U. And here we have E, Chirik. So we have two more here that we didn't do yet. And so then we have Chaylam. Chaylam is I. It's a dot on top or just the dot. So here the Shuruk, it's either just the dot in the middle or the dot on top. So here we have on top now. Till now we had underneath or inside. Now we have on top. So either on top of this vav is an added letter or just the dot over on the left side of this. Remember, we're reading right to left. It's on the left side, almost touching the next letter. And finally, we have shva. Shva almost means like hard. It's like, So here, these two more that we have. I did here, I. You could either have the aleph with the dot next to it or with the vav that has the dot on top. And then, is just the shva. So the Alter Rebbe, who's the founder of Chabad, he wrote the Tanya. He says, we're living in a world literally made up of the letters. All the things we have in the world are shaped of the letters. And I read this article by Asher Crisp, Rabbi Asher Crisp. He wrote in his article that, on his website, Inter-Inclusion, that Devar, for example, Daled, Beis, Resh means thing and speak. So it's a code of living words, sounds. So, for example, you would say rocks, plants, humans, are things, but then you have something that speaks. So you could see that each thing has a code. And then we have two more topics. So I want to continue. You have, for example, we have another thing by Rabbi Asher Crisp. He says we have faith, pleasure, and will. So we have ratzon, which is will, and then we have tanug, which is pleasure. We have emunah, which is faith. These are like three nightlights that guide our consciousness. They're three parts of our crown, and then they inspire everything that flows from them, whether it's our beliefs, meaning. Beliefs is one, right? What we believe in our faith. Meaning and enjoyment is our pleasure, and desire and want is our will. So Ezra in 6:3, he mentions the word atar, which is like a house for connections, a place where they offered sacrifices. This is the first letter of each of these three words: Emunah, Aleph, Tanug, Taf, and Ratzon, Resh. Now you could see, we're taking this a step further with the Hebrew letters. You could actually make a word out of the first letters, and then depending on how you could say eter, etor, atar, right? And so this is a house for connection, like a network. In Hebrew, it has come to mean website in the modern world, this very word, the connection, based on connection. Okay, I want to share now, finally, things I want to do this month that I wrote a year ago. Figure out why I gained 50 pounds in a year. Sit back and watch things unconceal without controlling. Reassess, reorganize my daily schedule. Make myself happy versus expecting another to. Heal my relationship with Hashem, my God. See how my Creator will bridge the gap to me. Give others a chance to show their desire, their needs, their will, their efforts. And finally, incorporate the reality that everyone has their own relationship with a personal God, a higher power they're directly connected to, and how these can fight each other if people aren't connected to the Most High, the God of all gods. In other words, each of our inner God was sort of like fighting the other one's innate divinity if we don't remember it all comes from one. So today we really talked about currency. So why did I say things I want to do? Because if we connect to our will, our beliefs, and our faith, connecting to our crown, this is our God, this is our power, this is our divinity. Hopefully this was interesting for you, and I wish you a good evening. See you tomorrow. Bye.